To focus better during games, you need to work on training your focus as an athlete. Hey there, I'm Eli Strawman, a performance coach and the founder of SuccessStartsWithin.com. In this 5th video in the series on improving your focus as an athlete, you're going to learn 2 techniques that you can use to train your focus. Now, if you haven't watched the previous 4 videos, I've linked those in the description below. Now, in the last video, we talked about a technique you can use and a strategy that you can use to refocus in the moment during games. I've linked that video right here if you want to go ahead and watch that to learn about that strategy if you haven't watched it already. So once you have that technique in place to refocus during games, it's important to begin improving your focus over the long term. That way, distractions have less of an impact on you and it becomes easier for you to stay focused during games. And so both of the techniques that I'm about to go over, they do require consistency. Think of them like, strength and conditioning training or performing drills to improve your mechanics. Change is not going to happen overnight, but improvement will come over time if you remain consistent. So the first technique is training focus with mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness meditation is a great technique for training focus because it trains your ability to keep your attention centered in the present moment. And that's what you want to have happen during games, right? You want to be more process focused and you want to be completely focused on what you're doing right now in the present moment. But what mindfulness also helps strengthen is the ability to recognize when you become distracted and then return your attention back onto what you want to be focused on. And if you have watched the previous video, you'll know that in that video, we talked about the ability to recognize when you become distracted. And that's something that mindfulness is going to help you do. To train focus using mindfulness, you want to decide on a certain amount of time each day that you're going to practice. A great amount of time to start with is 3 to 5 minutes. What you want to do is set a timer for the amount of time that you've chosen, close your eyes, and then focus on breathing. Take nice, deep breaths. Now, as you focus on your breathing, your mind is going to wander. That's completely natural. You're going to start thinking about a ton of different other stuff. But what you want to do is notice that you're thinking about something else, and then you want to bring your attention back onto your breath. It is that act of noticing your attention drifting and then returning it onto your breath that's training your ability to notice when you become distracted and then to refocus yourself. And then the second technique you can use is setting performance objectives. Performance objectives are cues or targets that you set for yourself during games that are part of the process and in your control. For example, an objective for a hitter in baseball might be to let the ball travel. Another example is for maybe a tennis player to keep the head still and move feet while playing. The point of performance objectives is that you give yourself something very concrete to focus on that's not the outcome. Because we know that one of the main internal distractions that you face is outcome-oriented thinking, so thinking too much about what's going to happen. The more you focus on the process, the better your performance is going to be. Performance objectives help in the short term by giving you something to focus on, but they also help over the long term by training a more process-focused mindset. That way, it's going to become more natural for you to focus on the process instead of the outcome. So if you want to train your focus as an athlete over the long term, make sure that you're using mindfulness meditation and then also make sure that you are setting performance objectives for practices and games. Now, like I said, if you haven't watched any of the 4 previous videos in this series, I've linked those in the description below. And if you have any questions about refocusing yourself during games, distractions, or athlete focus in general, please leave them in the comments below.